I was pastor of a church for nearly 30 years, and I loved it. I loved the people, and the church grew during our time. In 1996, we had 214 members. By the time I stepped down in October of this year, we had over 400 members. And the church continues to grow and to thrive and to prosper to this very day. So why would I step down from that? Why would I walk away? Why did I retire? Well, number one, I had physical reasons. I hadn't been feeling well the last few years. I had noticed I had had a lot of pounding heart issues, palpitations. And after meals, I would feel especially weak and washed out, and I would go lie down on the couch for a couple of hours, and I thought, what is going on? This is not like me. And one night I thought my heart was going to pop like a bubble. So I went to the hospital and found out my blood pressure was 217 over 112. Well, they were gracious. They let it go down on its own for a little bit and gave me a beta blocker, told me to drink more water. And I did that for a while, but I still had the issues. And this summer, as we were moving to our own home, I noticed that the simple act of carrying something from the house to the car would have my heart pounding so hard and have me feeling so weak, I would have to sit down, and I thought, man, this is getting worse. So I went to the hospital, and they did an echocardiogram and blood work, and they found that my hemoglobin was low. And I also have a heart condition called hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, which is worse when you're under stress, and it's also worse when you're physically exerting yourself. And so I spent a couple days in the hospital, went home for a day, got really sick, went back for 3 more days. And they put me on medicine for the heart condition. And long story short, it's been a long road. I have a couple of other illnesses besides the heart condition. I have autoimmune hemolytic anemia and marginal zone lymphoma, a form of cancer. And I just found out that I'm in remission from the cancer, so I'm very, very grateful. Thank God for that. Praise God. But it was the physical things that led me to realize, and my wife to agree with me, that we needed to step back from full-time ministry so that I could heal, so I could be refreshed, so I could be sensitive to what God may have for me next. Second thing besides the physical reasons were the emotional reasons. I'm not going to lie, I was emotionally tired. I found myself thinking about the next vacation, and when we came back from that vacation, I was thinking about the vacation after that. I was thinking about a life after full-time pastoring a church of 400 people where we could travel more, where I could do things like I'm doing right now, more podcasting and programming. Found my mind wandering. My wife, though, grew up in the church where we pastored, and I think it was very understandably difficult for her, for us to make that move. And she didn't want to do it, and I wouldn't do anything that would go against my wife. So I kept going, but I had these emotional reasons that I was thinking about. It isn't that I didn't love the people I was ministering to, but I was tired and dreaming of another life, of another type of ministry. So in addition to the physical reasons and the emotional reasons, I also had spiritual reasons. I really felt in my heart that God was leading me to help some of the smaller, struggling churches in my denomination, the way we were able to help Peace Church during the 29 years we were there. I had a heart's desire to do that. Whether that means pastoring, I don't know about that. We'll get to that in a little bit, but my heart's burden was to be in a small church setting once again. And then we also had personal reasons. I did want to travel more. I wanted to try my hand at being a snowbird and doing some of the things that I've always dreamed about. So you wonder, well, what do I miss about ministry? What do I miss about pastoring the church? I got to be honest, I miss the people. They were wonderful. I miss the kids. I miss playing Jesus and the disciples with the kids in the park after watching them play softball and baseball. I miss passing out candy to them. I miss occasionally skipping quarterly or building and grounds meetings so that I can talk with the kids and they could tell me what they were thinking about the future of the church. I miss the kids. I also miss the teenagers. It never ceased to amaze me how spiritually astute some of our junior high and high school students can be. We would have youth group meetings and they would say things and me and Jeannie would look at each other like, wow, they must really be listening or they've been really thinking about what they've been hearing. So I miss the youth. I also miss the families. You know, those families in our church work so hard all week long, but they make sure they and their kids are in church on Sunday. I miss them. They were special. And I missed our seniors, those wonderful older members of the church that allowed me to come and visit them. Because when you're pastor of a church, you can't always visit the younger families because they're working. You know, there's nobody home. But the older members of the church, they were very welcoming with open arms, and I learned a lot from them. I miss them very much as well. So those are things I miss the most, are the relationships, are the people. I also, I was missing the preaching because I really felt like there were a lot of Sundays where God was speaking through me. It wasn't just my words. I was re-revealing his word to the congregation. And there's just no feeling like it. There's when you feel like you're being held up by God and God is speaking through you. It's fantastic. And I still get that when I fill in for other pastors or when I'm doing my Bible studies online. I still get that, but that was very, very special. Well, you say, well, what do I not miss about pastoring the church? What am I glad I'll never have to deal with again? Well, wouldn't you like to know? There are certain things I'm just going to take with me into eternity. We'll just say that. But they were wonderful years. I loved pastoring, but you know what? I love my life now. Do I see myself ever pastoring a small church or ever again or anything like that? Well, I would never say never. I would have to listen to the Lord. There are a lot of churches in my denomination that could definitely use help. And it would be an honor to be able to help in that way. I'm not 100% sure that is God's plan for me, but I would certainly, health permitting, God leading, give that prayerful consideration. So anyways, that's why I stepped down. I have total peace about it. I love the fact that we're able to travel. We're going to be in less than 2 weeks. We'll be going down to Florida, be able to see family, take our time, not have to be back by a certain day, still be able to do ministry and podcasts. It is really an exciting time of life for us. But I just wanted to share that because I know people were curious. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll catch you in the next video. God bless you.